I'm trying to find the right words for this. So let's just dive on in. First off, the campaign. Is it good? Is it as bad as what everyone is saying? Personally, no. If you just play it, and you don't really put some effort into it on your part a little bit, yeah, it can get boring and it's not that good. But if you do what I did by, name your character whatever you named your character, and went along with what your character or what you believed your character would say, because when it gets your time for your character to speak, he does not speak. There's no text boxes. So if you, for example, Trunks looks at your character at one point and goes, "Oh yeah, you're right." So if you would have said, "Trunks, you're a bitch," "Oh yeah, you're right," it's funny. Or something that goes along with the story. The story for me was a little bit predictable. I figured the main villain wasn't actually the main villain, especially when he starts saying how he lost his family, aka Cain. Now when he talked about his family and all that, it did make me feel bad about him. But the problem was, it didn't come from Cain himself. Not at first. It came from his side piece, his assistant, what you want to say, the green hair skin. I don't know how to say her name properly. But even so, she had something that should have supposed to have been very emotional. Gaara said something that was very emotional. And their facial expressions lacked way too much, where they looked and felt like just robots. There was at points where I felt like the characters, when they spoke and what the words they were saying, does not match what they would normally say. Gaara was played perfectly. He said this profound thing. Something about how the replicas, he feels sorry for the replicas, not because they're evil and all that stuff, but because they never had a choice to begin with to choose the right path or even the wrong path. They're forced to do all this stuff, not realizing the free will. Something like that. I butchered it completely, but it was something along those lines. Now, I expected something like that from Naruto. Now, Gaara does sometimes in the anime say profound stuff, but I expected Naruto to talk ninjutsu Cain to the good side, to be honest with you guys. Especially when Naruto found out about his family. When he found out how Obito was, he up and beyond talk ninjutsu him to becoming good again, That's because Obito had redeeming qualities. Same thing for Cain. Cain did not start off evil. So I figured, go at least one of the anime characters will talk some sense. Now, all the other characters feel like themselves. Goku was toned down a bit in a sense to where his wanting to fight strong opponents was toned down a bit, and more of a serious, mature role as leader of Alpha Team. Now, I found out strange that it wasn't Piccolo that was the leader of Alpha Team, or even someone else like Ichigo. I don't know that. That's weird, that noise. Anyways, I found that oddly strange. Another thing is, it's a little nick, but you can see my cape, right, guys? How it's hovering. I don't like that. It's kind of moving not along with my character, but like with the leaves, how they move because of the wind. I think that's it. But it could have been down, and when I walked, it flaps. I don't know if that's because the way they made the game look that's happening or not. I don't understand. Anyways, so even though I enjoyed the story for what it was and I liked it, through a criticism for someone to tweak, I don't know how to say it. From a reviewer point of view, the story wasn't that good, but for someone just playing it, just to play it, it was okay. I had fun with it, and I enjoyed having all the characters, especially when I put my real name in the character. So anytime the characters tried to boost me up, they were saying my name. It felt good in a sense, because these are my heroes, in a sense. These are my favorite character anime heroes that I grew up with, telling me how far I've come and all this stuff. And considering my background, you guys don't know already, but I mentioned several times what my background is in other videos. It meant a lot. So that I gave it emotional weight, but the characters couldn't give the story what it needed, which was emotional weight. That's what was holding it back. I believe there should have been 12 chapters, but there wasn't. There's only 8 or 9. Now, I thought there would be 12, considering that this is an anime game, also a promotional anime game for Soujin Jump's 50th anniversary. So you can tell that they put effort in the game, but not as much to the point where they should have been for an anniversary point of view. I can see that they didn't go all out, but they did put effort in. I feel like they didn't put effort in the storytelling, but more towards the actual gameplay and how it would look and how it would feel. Meaning they made sure that not all the characters were too overpowered over another character. Except for Yugi. Yugi's kind of an ass to use. I like Yugi. I like how he plays, but man, he's the OP for no reason. Everyone says JoJo is as well, but I don't see it. But anyways, they worked very hard on the fighting mechanics. They worked very hard on the actual meat of the game, which was the fighting. It's not stiff. It's not all over the place. It's solid. Now, I'll show you a little bit of it on offline. I already do offline, but we're gonna go training. We're gonna go. Or actually, you know, I can show you a computer. Use character levels. How many rounds? 1 round. 7. All right. So we're gonna see how good these battles are. We're gonna have Goku. We're gonna have, you know, these guys. You know, we kind of have to. We're gonna do the DBZ characters. Let's do Umbros. And I can show you the mechanics of how fluid it is. Alright guys, I enjoyed playing this game. I had fun with it. I don't understand why a lot of people are saying it sucks. I get that you spend $60 on this game and even the audacity of $100, the collectible edition, and you get a horrible campaign. I get that, but at least the campaign's not short. I don't know what else to say, but this game is definitely this game. I'm not saying this game is 10 out of 10, but is it a 1 out of 10? Absolutely not. I give it a 5. It's an average game, to be honest. And these are the only times they're lets move, by the way. That and their cutscenes. But there's no facial expression behind it at all. But I feel like the fighting is not stiff at all. So we're gonna see who wins, Goku or Frieza. The Z fight, I know Piccolo's on there, but Piccolo used to be a villain, so I thought why not. Mind you, these are two pure computers playing, but it's a lot more fluid when humans are playing. Or players, not humans. Well, humans are players. Oh well. Their awakening is simply amazing. I feel like they put more of an effort. I've already said this again, but I feel like they put more of an effort towards the actually fighting mechanics and how it looks and their movesets than the actual campaign storyline telling. I think this is where most of their money went. Which would explain why, when it comes to the text boxes, there's not a voice that goes with it. There's hardly any speaking parts in this game. Well, let's see if we can get one of them to use their finals. There's only one problem I have with this game. I mean, well, besides the ones I mentioned, there's only one thing I have a problem with the fighting mechanics. The computers block way too much. When that happens, you just can just throw them around, so it kind of gets easy when you get them to do the one thing over and over. Ooh. Surprised none of them is using their. There he goes. He decided to awaken. Uh-oh. So who's gonna win, guys? Piccolo or Trunks? Oh. Also, by the way, can I mention that these computers sometimes spam a lot? Uh-oh, that might be game. Oh, no, Trunks blocked. If Trunks blocks this, he won. Trunks won. As you can see, I feel like they put more effort in their fighting mechanics than anything else in the story. And I've already said that a bunch of times. I like that there's different costumes. There could be more costumes, but the costumes themselves are questionable because there's certain colors that are just godly awful. To be honest with you guys, there's a light, a highlighter yellow color for Trunks' jacket, and it's just absolutely terrible. You know, I don't like it. I wish I'll show you what I mean, in fact. I wish they did like Xenoverse's customization, where you could buy one outfit and then change its color. It's upgrades. Now, I'm happy with the game. Don't get me wrong, guys. I enjoy playing it, but I have to look at it through a critic's point of view, a reviewer point of view, you know? I can't let nostalgia or the fact that it's Goku and Luffy and my boy Naruto and Ichigo, you know, that's, oh, this game's 10 out of 10 because they're in there. No, it's that, no. So you can see this color right here is terrible. But if you think about it, let's see, if you go to this store, there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, I think this is 8, 9. This is the same thing. 10, 11, 12. 12 items. And probably even 12, you know, on the other stores. Each store has different items, different clothing. Now, what I would prefer is, even if it was just like, you know, Naruto's shirt, click on that without the other two being there, and then change the colors yourselves. I feel like they did this to pretty much hide the fact that there's not a lot of options or a lot of clothes in the game. But that's just my thing. Anyway, so let's wrap this up. So to sum it up, even though I enjoy the storyline, it lacks a lot. So it's not as good as what I was hoping it to be. I am disappointed in the story, but I did have fun in it. Most of the fun towards this game is obviously the fighting part. It's really good, and I feel like they spend a lot of time working out the fighting mechanics. The cutscenes lack a lot of emotional weight because of how the game looks, but at the same time, this is what makes this game not unique in a sense, but makes it look good. It's a double-edged sword because of how they look, because of what they chose to make the characters out of. It makes it very hard for facial expressions to be a thing, which holds the game back on emotional weight. And for an anime, especially for an anime game, I feel like there has to be emotional weight, especially when you're telling the story of all our favorite anime characters in one. Something else I forgot to mention is that I do love how they all sound like themselves. Goku talks like Goku, Luffy talks like Luffy. Sometimes there's a little questionable of like Goku would really say something or not say something at this particular time. But again, it's not all about Goku. They have to spread it up. But I enjoyed it. a lot. I enjoyed the fact that these characters sounded like the characters I grew up with. So I have to give this game a 5 out of 10 because it's right now is an average game. I enjoy the characters. I enjoy it being an anime. But honestly, the only reason why I even got this game was because it was an anime game. If this was a new fighting game trying to go against Street Fighter, or even Soul Calibur in a sense, or Final Fantasy, I wouldn't have bought the game. So I guess you guys can look at this and say, oh, you only bought it because of anime, and you're only giving it a 5 because of the anime, and if it wasn't anime, it'd be lower. No, I think, honestly, if I did for some reason get the game, even though it wasn't anime, I would enjoy the fighting mechanics, and I would enjoy the story a little bit, even though I had no idea what's going on, or try to learn any of the characters' names. I wish they had something where you learn about each anime character. Now, of course, you know, buying this game, you should already know at least the most of them. But if anyone bought this game not into anime or wanted to start in anime and had no idea who these characters were, it'd been really good to be like, oh, who's Goku? Like, who's Gaara? Who's Naruto? Like, why do I care about these guys? You know, something like that. But again, guys, I give it a 5 out of 5. 5 out of 10. Yeah, guys, that's pretty much it. So, if you guys like the video, please like it. I know this is a little choppy and a little of my stuttering. I just had a hard time coming up with reasons why I have to give it a 5, because I love this game. It's so much fun to play. But again, through a critic's point of view, or through a average gamer or a non-anime fan point of view, it's not bad, but it's not really all that good. It comes, all its happiness I have with this game comes from the animes and how it looks when I do the Killer Will's Godspeed attack. That's really cool to do in Yugi's. That's awesome. Anyways, guys, until next time, this has been your boy King Games 80 of King's Nation. I'll catch you guys later on the flip side, but until then, stay wild, stay crazy, and most importantly, stay insane.